Eva mi kira fuma mami. Ori shabija o. Kosilae. Eva mi kira fuma mami. Ori shabija o. Kosilae. Oh yeah. La 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 la. That's why you're beautiful. Oh yeah. La la.
To the point, it is clear that whatever agenda we have is already set for us as candidates. A situation where we have so many women, you've made very clear to us. Again, to add to it is that we know that 15% of households generally are headed by female, and that is a reality. But there are many more families that are not necessarily headed by females, but are managed by females. And that, I think, there's no need to argue about. Then we go to women in politics, because I believe, again, that's why we're here. And what do we have for the women? Let me start with my own personal position. In the choice of a woman, or in the choice of a running mate, I took the firm decision that we're going to have a lady, a female, as the running mate. Not just to make you happy, but because it is a reality based on the demographics and things that we have put in place. Again, what kind of woman? Because you must be sure what you're about. And for me, it was important that I was going to take a woman that was going to add value, not necessarily to make you happy and say there's a woman there. And so it was my choice to pick a lady who had done a bit of teaching, who is an accountant. She has an MBA. She's a good politician. So she's combined everything together. And so I'm not taking somebody that I feel threatened by. I'm taking somebody that I know is going to add value in whatever we do as we go ahead. She's not here because she may come in before we finish, but because she's doing something else elsewhere. We're pulled left and right. And, yesterday she was somewhere else where somebody told me that, oh, we didn't know that your deputy was so great. And I said she was chosen because she's great. So I think it's recognition. But having said that, because Mrs. Adekoya had given statistics, let me put it like this. In choosing a running mate, I'm using that as my first step. I, of course, asked around who can be a good running mate. But you know, in trying to get one, for every one woman that came up, I had over 100 male that came up. So the ball is back to your court, that you have to show more interest in the political arena. So you may have the population on your side, but you are not there. And you know, when you have a good person in government, that person is expected to pull more into it. And I think that's my suggestion, or shall I say my trick, my advice for you, that it's important you begin to recognize those of you who are not just good as technocrats, but must play the game. That is very important. And I think that's the much I would say very briefly, because time is not our friend. Now, of course, you say, because that I think is the key. If you accept that, you know, we need to get one or two people through that door, then many more will come in, because many more will be encouraged to come in. That's very important. We talk 35%. My running mate, when we go out, she says 50. When she says 50, I run away from her. That I'm not yet committing to 50. I'm trying to commit to 35 first. You know, and that's the way it should work. You know, get more people through the door. If you get that, then other things fall into place. What are the specifics for women? I keep saying, just like I tell the youth, don't look at yourself as youth and think that it has to be something special for you. I don't personally believe in youth organizations and campaign. Be part of it, so that when we're choosing people, you are also chosen in your own right. So as a woman, be part of it. let us take these decisions together. Let us run it together. She says 50%. Then I say, you know, we're probably working till about 2 a.m. And I say, Safu, you know, we have an appointment for 8 a.m. tomorrow. She says, when are we going to sleep? We're carrying this thing together. It is Ace of Day. When it's Ace of Day, it means Ajomama Gberu, it's okay. So don't say 50% when it's sweet, and then say, you know, and that's it. So in terms, if we already agree that 50%, 52% are women, it means that whatever policies we're putting in place must be to the advantage of women. If you put in education policies, there's no way that you're not going to have the women involved, because they have to be properly educated, they have to be skilled. You are looking at their skills in terms of vocation, in terms of technical skills. There's no way you're going to be training people that you're not going to be carrying the women along. If you're talking about health, again, if you're providing health for the people, you're talking about the children, it's a 50-50 thing. The women are involved. The female is involved. If you're talking about pregnant women, nursing mothers, the aged people, you're addressing the women. So what we're saying is that it's getting better in terms of what the women are entitled to. And if you look at the statistics, for example, primary education globally is more or less equal in terms of both male and female. Well, maybe Nigeria may be a bit outside the global, but it's getting better. I don't think that's where the challenge is. The challenge is really in the political powers, the political equation for women. If you look at it, those statistics have remained very, very, very stagnant over the last 16 years. You're getting, it's negligible. I mean, she's giving Lagos State. It's not restricted to Lagos. It's right across the country. If you look at the number of people there, you see that it's not there. So I think my message in the 10 minutes that I have is more that, I mean, what I want you to take home is that you've got to be ready to go in there, so that those little things that really add value for you will be to your benefit.
It's now time to hear from the second person that came in the person of Mr. Akinwunmi Ambode of the APC. You're welcome.
The president of the Lagos Cosmopolitan Women's Club, the executive members of the club, the chairperson of this occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I just want to start, I want you to join me in one simple song. Iya lolu bowo mi tintoju mi ni kekere It gives me a great pleasure to be invited by your esteemed club today. My presence before you this morning is for two main reasons. First is to share with you some ideas and aspirations which we hope that the government, which all Lagosians will elect on 28th of February to take charge of, will pursue passionately. Secondly, and more importantly, is to learn from you, mothers, sisters, and wives, what we as a government need to do in order to ensure fairness, equity, and justice in our society. What we need to do in order to live in a society that is secure, clean, and conducive to raising our children to become leaders of tomorrow. The role of women, especially in the development of any nation, is second to none. Whether at the home front, whether at the home front or in the workplaces, whether in the public or in the private sphere. Women have proved and continue to prove across all ages and generations that they are a pivotal force for progress, a formidable force for unity, and a valuable instrument of change in any society. Like most of us here today, I was lucky to have been raised by a mother whose ambition is not just to raise a child, but to raise children who will be useful to their society and to the rest of humanity at large. For that, I will always be grateful that God gave me the best mom I could ever have wished for. In our society today, women and girls face various kinds of challenges. At home, in schools, at places of work, on our streets, women and young girls who deserve our best protection are often left to the mercy of inclement forces of the society. Whether it is child trafficking, child abuse, violations of women's rights, labor exploitation, to mention but a few, women and girls are often left to the dark recesses of our society. Our government shall especially treasure the place of women in the government and in the society. We shall pursue equal treatment of men and women in workplaces. We shall ensure that women are entitled to the same conditions of services as their men counterparts. At the home front, our government will prioritize the enforcement of all the laws against domestic violence. The abolition of child slavery in all forms shall be one of the key priorities of our government.
You have 5 minutes.
Our government can only achieve these objectives with your support. We need your support not only in electing us into office come February 14 and 28, but in partnering with the government to implement its programs for women and girls. In the particular area of implementing programs such that will enable physical, environmental, educational, and social development of our women and empower them through skill acquisition training. Your role as a women's club is very critical. I will come here. I don't want to talk about percentage. I am more for women's rights and equality. In my own personal experience, when I was Accountant General of Lagos State, I had 6 women who were actually directors, and I had 2 men that were also directors. Ladies and gentlemen, when we empower women, we empower the society. And no one can doubt that there is a nexus between the status of women and poverty in the society. Our government will promote and pursue programs that will see more women and girls take advantage of the various opportunities that are present in our society, and the many more that will be opened up by my government. We do not want to see only women deputy governors in Lagos. We wish to see sometime soon women governors in Lagos. Women speakers of the Lagos House of Assembly. We want to see women aspire to, and beyond what men have been able to achieve, it is your right to do so. Believe me, mothers, wives, and sisters, my commitment towards women in everything I do is very personal. The ambitions and aspirations of our government in relation to women and girls are informed and shaped by experiences which are both personal and public, but which are all directed towards one end, that no girl will be denied good education, security, protection under our government's watch, that no woman will be left to the hands of domestic violence or will be denied her rights at workplace because she's a woman. That no woman or girl will be left unprotected and uncatered for as long as God Almighty put us in charge of the next government in Lagos. This is my promise to you all. And you can hold me accountable to every single word that I have so committed with. As you are well aware, we are going to enforce the child abuse law. We will also ensure that the sex offenders list that the present government has actually promulgated will be further enhanced. We know that so much about sex violence and domestic abuse. I will stand up for all of you.
You have 1 minute more. 1 minute.
So I just want to appeal to you. I know that all of us seated there, we are all influencers in our own personal right. I want you to influence in the next 3 weeks the future of Nigeria. What is happening in Nigeria today is about your rights and the future of your children. And it is important that we do this together when you vote for APC on the 14th of February. God bless you all.
How will you deal with multiple taxation in Lagos State? I'm going to read out about 3 or 4 questions, and if you could please try to memorize them. The second question is, what policies do you have for women, and what percentages of women will be in your cabinet? Right. Rita Giwa, what will you do with the toll gate at Lekki? Right. Third question. As governor, what percentage of your cabinet will be women? Please note that whatever figure you give us here, we intend to hold you to that promise. This is from Ngozi Iwere. Okay, and the fourth question. Are you willing to emplace a political succession plan that ensures that the election of a female governor at the next elections after your tenure? Can you work to persuade your party on this? From Olukorede Willoughby. So those are the first set of questions that will go to Mr. Ambode, then to Mr. Agbaji, and then to Mr. Adeniji.
On the issue of multiple tax, I just want to make it very clear. My intention is to harmonize and then consolidate tax items into just one singular item. In that wise, it will be very clear to all taxpayers that once a tariff is sent to you, it will be obvious that that's the tax amount that you pay in that year. This whole idea of us having trade permit, land use charge, and all those taxes coming to you in different forms, and sometimes even coming to you from local governments, will be a thing of the past. What has really happened is this. There is a tax law in the states that itemizes tax items that could be taken by local government, which are totally different from the ones taken by the states. But the major task, the task ahead, is for us to be able to find a simpler means and more or less an electronic format in which we can send tax bills to taxpayers and then make it more comfortable for them to be able to pay from the comfort of their homes. We don't want this whole idea of people going from one point to the other, actually harassing people to pay taxes. And multiple taxation as more or less a feeling will become a thing of the past.
Okay. Thank you so much.
My policy on women is very clear, and I've been very declarative about it. It is more about inclusion. It's more about making Lagos work for everybody. I'm not about percentage. That's what I'm saying. We are going just a minute, ma'am. Yes, the Beijing declaration says that 5%. But again, you know what? Every citizen of Lagos State has equal access and equal opportunity. We must stop this whole idea of, I'm coming, ma'am. We must stop this whole idea of 35% or 50%. We will make it possible for everybody that is competent enough to come in. And I want to tell you, it will go beyond the statistics that you have. the statistics that was read by the chairman was talking about political appointments. But these are people who are politically active. So you must stand up now and be counted and join politics. That's what I have done. If you do not join, you cannot have political position as she has read it out. When on the toll gates, when you look back, as at 2007, Akinwunmi Ambode wasn't like that.
Please, can we not have any interruptions? Let them answer
now,
their question.
In 2015, we are going through that toll. Remember, before that toll could be put there, is the combination of all the resources of the citizens of Lagos State, the taxpayers, that was put together in conjunction with the facilities that was put there to do that toll gate. In essence, it means that we must find a way to plough back, to pay back to those areas where the resources are not there. In addition to that,
Mr. Ambode, please, can I please plead with you to just answer the questions because
I need to answer it. The tolls, when you get the tolls from it, you use it to maintain the road itself. You are using it to employ people. It's important that we continue to take the tolls to be able to retain the workforce and then do more for the people of the Lekki axis.
Thank you. And the last question.
The percentage of women in our cabinet.
Yes, thank you.
I've said it. It's not about percentage. It's about equal opportunities. We'll get more women to political positions because they are as competent as the men.
And what about succession planning? Would you help with that in ensuring that after your tenure, if you were the next governor?
So you just need to join hands with me and come and join APC, and then we'll become a force in which we can push for that succession plan.
Thank you. Please, we'd like to crave your indulgence, not to hail, not to clap.
Please.
Thank you very much. Very quickly on multiple tax. Mr. Ambode has helped me out as to the way forward.
Can we let them...
Please, if you will not be quiet at a particular section of the hall, we will have to ask you to leave. So please, let's be very quiet. Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying that Mr. Ambode has given a good answer as to how to harmonize the multiple tax. I only wish that his government had done this in the last 16 years. Having said that, I think there's another aspect to the multiple taxation, and that is the idea of using regulation as a means of income generation, which I think people are complaining about. So if LASMA does hold you for a tax for a driving offense, they say, where's your tax clearance again? They say, where are the tax clearance of two of your directors, and all that. That in itself is a burden that shouldn't be. Regulation is regulation, income generation is different.
So how will you deal with it? What will you do differently?
That's what I'm saying, that he's answered in terms of harmonizing.
Okay, so harmonization.
So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Policy for women. Again, based on what I said earlier, it is recognition of all those demographics and all those statistics that we've had, and that you're consciously looking out for women. Now, as a governor or as a government, there's little you can do on the political front. When I say do little, you cannot make a person a councillor if you don't have the people that will come out and run as councillors. You cannot make people senator if you don't have women coming out to run as senators. But you can appoint people into office. So you can say, yes, I want women. And coming from my experience, women are more committed work people. If a woman says she's working, I know she's more committed. Of course, on the other hand, the day she says she's not working again, then there's nothing you can do about that. So, to that extent, it's recognition that you must continue to look out for women. You must continue to say, we have 3 people on the list for employment or for appointment. Do we have a woman? And where, of course, you have a good woman that is at par or nearly at par, then of course she gets the upper hand, because you want to recognize that women have a role to play. Percentage, again, percentage will not be for, like I said, for the elective offices, because I cannot make that commitment. But for appointments, then we are going in that direction and saying that there's no reason why I'm not going to come here, my deputy is not here, thank God, to commit myself to 35 in the first 4 years. But I would say that there's no reason why I cannot commit myself to at least 20-25% in the first 4 years of office. I'm not going to come, ladies, I am not going to say what I cannot.
Please, can we let them speak? Thank you.
I want you to hold me to what I say. And I'm saying that you can take it that in the first 4 years of my office, I will be able to face you and say that I have met my commitment of having 20-25% in appointees at the higher level of office. The toll gate, I believe I'm very clear on record that the Victoria Land Lekki toll gate will be scrapped. Succession for women. Please, just for the records, I only mentioned...
Hello, please, can we let them speak?
I'm only speaking about the Victoria Island Ekpe one. It does not extend to the Koili Bridge. It does not. I'm talking about just that and that alone. So please don't go away and say all tolls will be abolished. No. Okay? Succession for women as governor. Well, I didn't make that promise. Mr. Ambode did when he spoke. For me, it's the same argument that you've got to get people out there. I mean, if I have a deputy governor, like I said, that is on my ticket or on our ticket, based on her merit, naturally, in the course of events, she already has a head start over all those that will want to run for office. And the only way I can help is to continue to expose her in a way that you see her, not just as a running mate or as a deputy governor, but as potential governorship.
Thank you so much.
I have every intention of doing that. Thank you.
This is from our chairperson. In light of the heavy financial resources involved in politics, how do you intend to open up the political space for women at all levels of governance? How do we fund joining you guys? Number 2, Nigeria is supposed to go digital in July 2015. How are we going to meet this date? Can we have an update on that, please? That's to do with the industry that I'm in, and that's from Ms. Joke Silva. The third question is, what plans do you have to encourage entrepreneurship amongst the youth in Lagos State? And last but not least, why should we trust you? Thank you.
In respect of funding to allow women to join politics, I can use myself as an example. When I joined, it was no more about funding, it was about my commitment to selfless service. And that's what's the most important drive, to allow people to start to come into politics. When you have a good idea to sell, when you stand up for selflessness, all the people who are interested, who always want to support you. Yeah. And that's why I'm here today. So nobody should, in terms of gender, believe that if I don't have money, I cannot make it in politics. It's about your vision, it's about your ideals, and it's about people who lock into your vision. And that's it.
So we have to find someone that has a big bank account to lock in?
Not necessarily. That's what we're saying. People will support you for positive change. You know, in terms of digital age, what government will do, and what government has been doing, is to push the private sector to be in the forefront. We have the political will to allow that happen in Lagos State. That's what we've been doing. And then you will see that in addition to what the present governor is doing, you will see that I intend to open up this space to allow other people to give us that kind of infrastructure that we want. In terms of entrepreneurship for youth, Just 2 days ago, I held some kind of discourse with social entrepreneurs who happen to be young girls who are making positive difference in Lagos State. Beyond that, I intend also to establish what you call an employment trust fund that allows me, thousands of our youths who are actually so talented, they are so creative, but they're just looking for little capital to be able to just push themselves out. And the employment trust fund is in conjunction with the private sector. But I am making a commitment that my own government will commit 25 billion into that fund for 4 years.
Okay, sounds fantastic.
So the last part is on trust. For me to have been able to become a permanent secretary at the age of 37, at 37 you are actually in your exuberance. Yeah. For you to have been able to be a permanent secretary for 12 years, being the youngest permanent secretary, for me to have become the Accountant General of Lagos State at the age of 43, for me to have left at the age of 49, for me to have been the Chief Responsibility Officer of the finances of Lagos State for 6 years and actually living voluntarily without any blemish is enough to let you know that you can always count on me. I just want you to trust me.
Eba mi kira fún màmá mi, oríṣà bí yá o.